get your fix.
Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix?
With the Wicks here on this beautiful Monday, June 6, 2022, and welcome to the show, whether that's on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, do me a favor, hit the share and the like. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe. It'd be much, much appreciated. So hopefully you all enjoyed your weekend. I know it was quite crappy out here where I'm from in Minnesota. But at least there was some little spurts or moments where you could go out and enjoy the weather. It was kind of cool because it was cloudy. It was on and off with the rain and stuff, but I had a good weekend, and now hopefully we can enjoy this week because it's supposed to be pretty beautiful outside for the rest of the next couple days here. So I'm pumped for it. Hopefully we can get outside and do whatever the hell we want to do, whether that's hiking, throwing the ball around, whatever you want to do. Just go have fun while you're doing it. But hey, the NFL still kind of dead, okay, because there's not much happening. Voluntary OTAs are just wrapping up with mandatory minicamp just a week away, I believe, or some of them are starting this week, and then I think some start later in the week. Where basically everyone is supposed to or has to come to the mini camp, and it's basically a kind of a refresher, okay? Because we got all the rookies and all the free agents kind of on the same page on the playbook, and then we'll work our way to mini camp where we bring in all the veterans that are still on the team that already know the whole playbook and what to do and when to do it and stuff like that. So we'll bring them here together for a week to basically kind of run through everything on the playbook and see if everyone is on the same page. We'll really get to know a lot about some of these young rookies, these free agents, if we want to keep them on our team, if we don't. And then after mini camp, we obviously have training camp, which is about, I want to say, a month away or something like that. It's a little over a month away, so I'm pumped for it. The football world or the football season is 96 days away or 94 days away, whatever the case may be, so it's getting close. And I think the Hall of Fame game is going to be August 4th, if I'm not mistaken. So with that being said, we have some stuff to get to today, like free agent running back D'Ernest Johnson re-signing with the Cleveland Browns after having a couple of years there where he's an absolute stud. Going to be a very good running back. Hopefully within the next couple of years gets a starting role. He re-signs with Cleveland. We also got to talk about Cowboys tight end Dalton Schultz. Okay, Dalton Schultz signed a franchise tag just earlier this offseason. Turns out he's not so happy, okay? So we'll talk about that, as well as the 49ers, who have excused Jimmy Garoppolo, their quarterback, from this week's minicamp. And finally, the best defensive tackle to potentially ever play in the National Football League, Aaron Donald, for the Los Angeles Rams, got his contract extension. We'll give you the full details on that, what it kind of looks like. So with that being said, are you ready to get your fix? So as we learned this weekend, while we were enjoying the sun for Friday or Friday night or whatever, then we work into Saturday, it's raining and stuff, we find out that former Browns running back, who actually was a restricted free agent, which basically means the Browns have dibs. If the Browns want him, the Browns can re-sign him. If the Browns don't want him, then they have to officially make him an unrestricted free agent, which means that any other team around the National Football League can have an opportunity at signing him. Just basically being a restricted free agent, at least from what I kind of understand, is that, hey, no, Browns have dibs. The Browns have dibs on getting D'Ernest, and it's exactly what happened. Free agent or restricted free agent running back D'Ernest Johnson has reached an agreement with the Cleveland Browns. This is a 1-year deal worth up to $2.433 million. In other words, $2,433,000. That's what he can make up to, or gain, I should say. And then also included in that contract, he gets over $900,000 guaranteed. And this is a very, very good contract, especially for a nice, a good running back, an up-and-coming running back who has the potential to to be a starting running back in the National Football League. The dude has been unreal the past couple seasons, where he's had to step in for an injured Nick Chubb, an injured Kareem Hunt, and kind of take over either that number 2 role or that number 1 role. And he's done an amazing job at doing so, okay? Because he's at this is last year, 100 carries, 534 yards, and 3 tutties. Average about 5.3 yards a carry. That's a first down on every 2 carries. That is amazing. That is insane. And for a guy that's basically on the practice squad for the majority of the season to come onto that starting roster and really show what he's made of. I mean, halfway to 1,000 and only 100 carries and 3 touchdowns. He showed the Cleveland Browns that he's a dog. And once the Cleveland Browns have to make a choice, whether they want to keep Nick Chubb or let Nick Chubb go, or keep Kareem Hunt or let Kareem Hunt go, then they have D'Ernest Johnson kind of right there in their back pocket where they can pull it out as like a wild card. Like, well, we got this guy, so we really didn't lose anybody. It's just kind of saving us some money here and there. But if they wait too long, D'Ernest Johnson's money, man, he can make quite a bit. And this is only a 1-year deal. So if Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, if one of them gets hurt this year, D'Ernest Johnson has to step up. And he does the exact same thing, 500-plus yards, couple touchdowns. Cleveland could be looking at signing this guy to an extension, maybe 3 years, maybe a 4-year extension, whatever the case may be. And then it's probably like in the $5 to $10 million range. And you got a backup that can come in there when, Nick Chubb is getting tired or whenever Kareem Hunt's getting tired. And you can let one of those guys, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, go that are worth quite a bit of money at this point in their career, especially with what they have been able to do throughout the course of their career. They've been amazing. But D'Ernest Johnson signing or reaching an agreement with the Cleveland Browns, awesome. Good news for not only him, but Cleveland Browns fans, because I know I'm friends with a Cleveland Browns fan, and he kind of asked a couple times throughout this offseason, what's going to happen with D'Ernest Johnson? And I'm like, well, hopefully he stays with Cleveland. I think that seems like the most legitimate thing to happen. But if not, he could literally go to any team and instantly make them better, at least at the running back position, make that depth, on the depth chart, I should say, just not as much of a headache for the head coaches or for the running back coaches and stuff like that, where now you got a guy that if somebody doesn't pan out, you can plug and place him and he's just fine. He can go out there and do incredible things because he's a good running back. He's a young running back. I think he's been in the NFL for like 3 years. Only the past 2 years have they had to actually use him. And when they've had to use him, he's been exceptionally well and he knows the playbook. He has that chemistry built with all the quarterbacks in their organization. The offensive line has been phenomenal in creating blocks and opening up holes for him. So I'm pumped for D'Ernest Johnson. I'm pumped to hopefully get a chance to see him yet again on the football field, because when he's on that football field, he's electrifying, because you never know when he's just going to all of a sudden break a 40-yard run and he's gone. Like, this dude, there's just something about him that he has a lot in the tank, and he's going to be a superstar potentially one day. So Cleveland Browns and D'Ernest Johnson have agreed to terms on a 1-year, basically $2.4 million that he can earn up to. So with voluntary OTAs kind of taking place right now, this is a time where we get to see players that have been franchise tagged either embrace the franchise tag and know that that's the only option that the team has and that's the only option that it will work for them, or we see these players that were franchise tagged get kind of pissed, okay? I'm not playing on this. We've seen Devontae Adams earlier this season before voluntary OTAs actually started, where Green Bay Packers franchise tagged him, and he said, I ain't playing on the franchise tag, okay? You're going to pay me what I've been due for quite some time. Otherwise, I'm not going to be playing, okay? Plain and simple. Well, in the course of all that, the Raiders call Devontae's agent and say, hey, we got a contract here that we would love to give you an extension for. We just got to figure out a way to make a trade plausible. They found a way. Green Bay was said to, or I guess not a trade, it was basically because he was a free agent, and when you're a franchise tag, you can kind of sign still wherever, even though you're kind of locked to that team. And Green Bay was going to match that offer. Adams said, nope, sorry about it, because you wanted to give me this franchise tag. That was your first option. Now it's kind of like second option. Oh, you think you can lose me? You are going to lose me, okay? If you would offer me this in the beginning, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. I'd still be a Green Bay Packer, but since, I'm kind of your booty call or whatever you want to say, I'm going elsewhere, okay? Sorry about it. There's another guy that's been added to that mix. I'm not sure if it's going to be the extent of what it was with Davante Adams, but Dallas Cowboys tight end Dalton Schultz signed a franchise tag earlier this offseason. And, he's pissed. Okay? He's not happy. He's not going to be attending the rest of voluntary OTAs until maybe a contract extension gets done. As reported by Tom Pelissero on Twitter, he says, frustrated by the state of contract talks, Cowboys franchise tag tight end Dalton Schultz informed the team he won't attend the rest of voluntary OTAs per sources. Schultz already signed his franchise tender, locking in a $10.9 million salary for 2022, or for this season, if no deal is done by July 15th. So July 15th, I believe, is the last day where teams can sign players to a contract extension, and because I think July 15th, bam, the cap's set. That's what you're going to be rolling with. That's what your money's going to be. That's what your salary is going to be for the rest of the season at least. And Dalton Schultz is pissed. And I think he realized that the Cowboys weren't looking at him. Okay? Oh, we signed his franchise tag, or he signed his franchise tag. He's okay with it. We'll kind of move on. Let's work on some other guys. Let's figure out our rookies and our free agents and stuff like that. And Dalton Schultz kind of was going along these voluntary workouts and being like, okay, well, you said you were probably going to get something done for me. That's probably what happened behind closed doors. Not sure if that's the truth, but it kind of seems like that might be the truth, because with pulling out this early or this late in voluntary OTAs, it's kind of like, I bet he felt like something was going to happen, a contract extension was going to happen, and that has not been the case. He's pissed off. He wants to make his money. Not really so sure he deserves it quite yet, because he's been in the NFL for 2 years. 2 years. In 2020, 615 yards, 4 touchdowns. Not bad. Last year, 808 yards and 8 touchdowns. He massively improved, was able to find the end zone, got the yardage when he needed to get the yardage. Dalton Schultz has kind of been a staple in that Cowboys offense, especially with injuries and all that stuff that's kind of been happening. Now, he deserves something. Is it more than $10.9 million, though? I don't think so. I really don't at this point, just yet. I think if we get another season out of him, like if he were to just wait, take this franchise tag, $10.9 million, that is what you're going to get this entire season. No state income tax. You get every little bit of that. Have a massive season. Go off. Have 1,000 yards receiving. Have 12 touchdowns. Have 10 touchdowns. And then bam, sign a 3-year fucking $60 million deal or whatever the case may be, $20 million a year. You're set, okay? You are just fine. That is how I kind of look at it. But then again, I'm not Dalton Schultz, and I think Dalton Schultz is kind of betting on himself, like, hey, pay me now, I'm worth this, because tight ends, you can't find, you can find them in today's game, but it's hard to find a superstar. And when you do find that superstar, you want to keep him locked up as much as possible. I think Dalton Schultz kind of considers himself as one of those superstars or right at the breakthrough. And also with the tight ends, it's like Mike Gesicki got franchise tag. He's probably pissed that he got franchise tag because he believes he's worth wide receiver money. We went over that earlier in the year because he took a lot of snaps or more snaps out wide or in the slot than he actually did at the tight end position. And he's fast. He can get all that done. So tight ends altogether are kind of underpaid at this point in time. I think a lot of tight ends would say that or consider that. Even though some of them are like, no, it's all about winning. They really don't care about the money and stuff like that. But A lot of these guys should be making a lot more money, and Dalton Schultz is definitely one of them who believes that he should be making more money. I just don't think it's a smart business decision for Dalton Schultz to kind of do that, because I kind of laid it out there. $10.9 million for 1 year, and then if you prove yourself this year, you're going to get that extension. And that's where Jerry Jones will be more than happy to pay you, especially if you show out and show up for the Cowboys this season. So Dalton Schultz not happy with his current situation. Another situation around the NFL, it's not technically, well, I guess it's not anything or doesn't have anything to do with the contracts and voluntary OTAs. The 49ers have excused Jimmy Garoppolo from this week's minicamp. Now, minicamp is mandatory for all players. You have to show up. But in Jimmy G's situation, it's a little different. As reported by Tom Pelissero on Twitter, the 49ers, like I just said, have excused quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo from this week's minicamp per sources. Garoppolo has been rehabbing from shoulder surgery away from the facility as San Francisco explores trade options, and that will continue. This is a smart move. Okay, this is a very smart move by the 49ers. Because if he shows up for mandatory minicamp and you kind of have him throwing the ball or doing a bunch of stuff and he re-aggravates that injury, that shoulder injury, which he had surgery on, so it should be okay, but rehab and all that stuff, you want to keep that going at the right pace, not a faster pace, not a slower pace. You want to kind of keep it going gradually until he feels like he's 100%. So they're like, okay, well, hold off on this mini camp. We know you know the playbook and all that stuff. But also, listen, okay, we're still trying to find a trade partner for you. Because we've said multiple times, or the 49ers have said multiple times, Trey Lance is most likely going to be our guy. And we want to roll Trey Lance. Drafted him 2 years ago, had a year behind Jimmy, behind you, okay, this year. We're going to roll with him now. This is the new guy. This is our franchise guy. This is who we want to roll with. And we think you could be more valuable somewhere else. But the question remains, is there suitable trade partners? Yes and no. Yes, because you got the Carolina Panthers stuck with the Sam Darnold situation. Do you really want Sam Darnold? Or do you want Jimmy Garoppolo? Both quarterbacks, I think we've seen reach their peak. You're not going to see anything more. You're not going to see anything less until maybe a couple years and they start, really decreasing in production. Both the same. You've seen what you're going to get out of them. Jimmy Garoppolo, better than what you're going to get out of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's been really struggling, especially when you got Robbie Anderson at your wide receiver, DJ Moore at your wide receiver position, Christian McCaffrey and Chuba Hubbard in the backfield. I mean, you have these weapons, and Sam Darnold just doesn't seem like he's going to cut it, okay? It's just, especially in a division with Tom fucking Brady, folks, okay? That is going to be tough to overcome. You're not going to be better than Tom Brady. Sorry about it, all right? And then you look at the Atlanta Falcons. Their season's already done, okay? Calvin Ridley out a whole year because he was putting sports bets down. Massively illegal if you're a player in the National Football League. Not if you're not in the National Football League. Put all the bets out down if you want, except, Minnesota. Let's hurry up. Let's get this sports betting in here so I can fucking win some money, goddammit. I mean, geez, Louise. I'm waiting for it. And then you look at the Saints. Jameis Winston started 5-3 for the Saints. Looking like a playoff quarterback, looking new and improved, better than what he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in his final season. 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, okay? Then you get the LASIK surgery. It's a whole new world he can see. He's like, oh, shit, all right, okay. I was throwing that ball? Oh, geez, all right, well, we'll figure it out. And he had a couple massive throws to Marquez Callaway last year, who hopefully he gets some time to start, even though Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry are now their wide receivers, so we'll see what happens on that front. But the 49ers trying to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. That's one suitor, Carolina. Another suitor would be the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, Drew Lock is their quarterback. Do you really want Drew Lock as your quarterback? I know Pete Carroll has come out and said, hey, look, We wanted Drew when he was in the draft. He just didn't fall to us, so we're just going to do it now. All right, he's the guy. We trust him. He's going to lead this team to the promised land and with the playoffs and stuff. We're going to win ball games with this guy. But then you sit and you think you think to yourself, he was on a Denver Broncos team, probably had more upside, actually did have more upside than the current Seattle Seahawks do. And he wasn't even their starter. Teddy Bridgewater is better than Drew Lock. Got the starting opportunity. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't better than Teddy Bridgewater. Stats don't lie. Jimmy Garoppolo's been to a Super Bowl. Actually, multiple. He has a couple rings because he was with Tom fucking Brady. But he's been there, done that. The veteran instinct. Where to throw the ball, when to throw the ball. I get it. Drew Lock's a young guy. He can all of a sudden have a massive or a very successful season. Just might not happen. Just might not be the case. Why not give yourself some security at the quarterback position? Have Jimmy come in. If Jimmy's still rehabbing that shoulder, Drew Lock can start. If Drew Lock's starting to look a little rocky, you put Jimmy G in. Maybe Jimmy G seals the deal, takes the job, runs with it. Maybe you're not making the playoffs. Okay, sorry, Seattle. It's just not going to happen. Don't know what to tell you. All right, that's my opinion. You're not going to make it. But Jimmy G, if he's your quarterback, I think your season, the outcome of your season, is a little bit better than if you had Drew Lock as your starting quarterback. So that's another suitor. Okay, there are obviously other suitors out there. The Houston Texans, they're running with Davis Mills right now. They seem to be bought all in on Davis Mills. A guy from Stanford, started all last season, did a pretty decent job, okay? From what I thought, anyways, exceptionally well. Don't know if he's quite a franchise guy. We'll really see in year 2, but that's another suitor. So there's suitors out there for Jimmy G. It's just for the for the 49ers to kind of make sure nothing happens while he's rehabbing that surgery. Get it 100% so that teams are more intrigued to kind of go and plug him away from, the Niners. Especially because they're going to have to pick up his contract and all that stuff. And I'm sure that's also playing a part in why nobody has really contacted him. Maybe they have contacted them, or maybe it's more the 49ers kind of reaching out to other teams and seeing what the possibility of trading Jimmy Garoppolo would be. So that's what Jimmy G's dealing with right now. Not going to attend minicamp, which is okay. Maybe he shows up but doesn't do anything. He's kind of in his sweats, just standing around. Or he just continues to rehab on his own at his home or wherever the case may be and get healthy and then all of a sudden get traded. So that is where the 49ers and Jimmy G stand at this point, excusing Jimmy G from minicamp. And last but not least, the best defensive tackle to potentially play in the National Football League, in the history of the National Football League. Now, it's hard to argue with, the like of Deacon Jones and all those other legendary defensive tackles. But in my opinion, potentially the most athletic, the strongest, the most agile defensive tackle to ever play in the history of the National Football League, Aaron Donald finally gets his extension. Now, last week we talked about this. Last week we brought him up because I seen a little thing on Instagram or wherever the case may be where he basically said, look, I thought I was going to come in the NFL, play 8 years, win a Super Bowl, and then kind of call it quits. But after winning that Super Bowl, I kind of want to go again. Like, I kind of want another piece of that. I want another Lombardi, just one more. Like, I want to do something. But I want my contract to be higher because I feel like I should be paid a little bit more. I went all in depth onto it saying, yes, he should be paid more. This dude's a legit animal. Nobody wants to play him. You can triple team him, and you're still not going to block him, okay? He he basically sealed the Super Bowl victory for the Los Angeles Rams, busting through 2 Cincinnati Bengals. See you later. What's going on, Joe? What's going on, Burrow? And bam, smack Joe Burrow. Game over. All right, Super Bowl champs, Lombardi trophy in his hand. He finally got his contract extension. Ian Rappaport says, sources, the Rams have reworked all-world defensive tackle Aaron Donald's 3 remaining contract years to give him a massive $40 million raise through 2024, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history at 31 years old. He gets $95 million through 2024. Ian Rappaport also goes on to say, in an unprecedented move, no New Year's were added, and he makes $65 million by 2023, and then $95 million by 2024. He is now the first non-quarterback to eclipse $30 million per year. Deal negotiated by Todd France of Athletes First, which now represents the highest paid offensive and defensive player in the National Football League. This contract is basically a 2-year, $60 million contract with, I believe, $65 million guaranteed. So it's basically, for the next 2 years, $60 million, $30 a year. But this year, $65 million guaranteed, or I guess the whole contract overall, $65 guaranteed. That's what he gets. He got signed massively. He deserves it. The best defensive tackle that this generation has ever laid eyes on or got to lay eyes on. We know about the greats. Mean Joe Green, Deacon Jones, okay? All those studs in the past. We know how good they were. But we've got to witness greatness for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday for quite some time. Aaron Donald is a beast, and he's proven. Okay, he's proven it. Field Yates goes on Twitter and says, Aaron Donald, 2014, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Pro Bowl. 2015, All-Pro, Pro Bowl. 2016, All-Pro, Pro Bowl. 2017, All-Pro, Pro Bowl, Defensive Player of the Year. 2018, unanimous All-Pro, Pro Bowl, Defensive Player of the Year. 2019, All-Pro, Pro Bowl. 2020, unanimous All-Pro, Pro Bowl, Defensive Player of the Year. 2021, unanimous All-Pro and Pro Bowl. That, folks, is how you get $95 million to become the highest paid offensive and defensive player in the National Football League, because he is a freak of nature, one of a kind. Who knows if we'll ever see someone like him again? You'd have to assume we might take some time to get there, but our generation has witnessed greatness. Absolute greatness. He deserves it. This is a big chunk of change for him, and I'm glad that he finally resigned. Retirement, no longer an option. He stays with the Rams for at least the next couple years, or at least through 2024. Aaron Donald is one of 3 defensive players, okay? One of 3 defensive players since the 1970 merger to earn a Pro Bowl selection in each of his first 8 NFL seasons, alongside Hall of Famers Lawrence Taylor, who had 10, and Derek Thomas, who had 9. So congratulations to Aaron Donald on a massive contract extension. I'm pumped for him. He has definitely deserved that contract, and he's putting in the work for it. Lombardi winner and all of the above. So with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether that's on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, do me a favor, hit that share, and then hit that like. And then if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe, okay? It'd be much appreciated. We'll be back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time, like always, to discuss more about what's happening in the world of the National Football League. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe out there. Make smart choices. And you just got your fix with the Wicks. And deuces, folks.